already going. Okay, so your mics are there. Rashida, you already gave your intro. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Yes, of course. Two things I wanted to add. When I was up there, I was talking a lot about how Startpath supports tech founders. But the last panel reminded me that all entrepreneurs are of interest to Mastercard, and all entrepreneurs have digitalization transformation issues or cybersecurity issues that Mastercard might be able to support them with. So I want to direct everyone to our Digital Doors website, and that's where we have our free resources, events posting, discounts for small business owners, those who might have marketplaces or brick and mortar solutions. So just want to mention that real quick about Mastercard.
Cool. All right, Marvin, let's kind of get into you. So share us a little bit more about name of the company, quick description of the company, where you're based out of, and then also we'll kind of get into some of the questions. So let's start with the general overview.
All right. Good to be here, y'all. So I'm Marvin Francois, CEO of oneKIN. We are a data-driven fintech. Hey, Ed. It's one of my homeboys. I didn't know you were here. Fintech and retail tech company that genuinely believes communities flourish when small businesses flourish. So to that end, we provide small businesses with cost-effective, cutting-edge software solutions to help them compete in a digital landscape. By way of example, our latest product is a live social commerce app akin to a modern-day AI-powered QVC for small businesses. Prior to oneKIN, I cut my teeth on Wall Street, where I helped build a $50 million credit business. I just moved down here to Atlanta from New York with my wife. She is a doctor at Emory, and we're both just very eager to contribute to the city.
Nice. So this is a true lightning panel, like 15 or so minutes. Rashid, let's a lot to talk about, but I do want to quickly understand, like, how did you all get connected together? Like, what did you see in Marvin and the company and stuff like that?
Funny, Marvin pitched on my fourth day of work at Mastercard.
Oh, wow.
So obviously the pitch was good and I got it right away. I think what Marvin and his co-founder is doing with oneKIN is solving a gap in the market. What we did with them, and I'll let Marvin give his perspective as the founder, but empowering small businesses and work in small business technologies is really important. We think small businesses are equally as important as the big retailers that are out there. And we want to make sure they have the tools to compete and stay around. And so Main Street grows and is inclusive and not just gets shrink smaller and smaller. And I saw what they were doing as one of those. So things we did is really, we are not an accelerator. When I say we're an engagement program, it's really that. We try to be bespoke and see what problems they have. And I'll make introductions as needed and then try to get something done. Actually try to get a partnership to really help them move to the next level. And I'll let Marvin kind of elaborate.
Yeah, I can't overstate the value of MasterCard. In many ways, it has fundamentally changed the trajectory of our business. And as someone who's spent the better part of a decade working for a large institution, I know that corporate partnerships tend to be this box-ticking exercise, but for MasterCard, it really is something transformative. So just to be brief, in light of the lightning round, the three things that I want to call out in particular are, firstly, maybe not common knowledge, but more than card processing. MasterCard is actually this massive data and technology company. Early on in our process, we spent several weeks with their data scientists helping us build out our propensity model that would ultimately feed our AI development. And this is before AI became kind of the buzzword of 2023. Secondly, this was around the Ukraine war. We had a really big team in the Ukraine, and because of the war, we had to dissolve that relationship, unfortunately. And it was at a time where we needed to aggressively and urgently get our product in the market. A few senior engineers from Mastercard India intervened, and I mean, they labored with us. And there were many nights where we were coding and debugging like through midnight.
Wow.
And it's like not even exaggerating. In a matter of 5 weeks, they debugged our entire software and produced for us a quality build with market readiness. For context, my previous team struggled to achieve that success over the course of 9 months. So just incredible. And one final thing, which is probably one of the biggest contributions, we urgently needed a new technical team. And MasterCard, through that relationship, introduced us to an offshore dev shop in Madrid. They did so good, we decided to bring them in-house, and we're going to literally build the next few decades of technology around this team. So no exaggeration, the partnership with MasterCard has fundamentally changed the nature of our business.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like they got down and started working on the product. I mean,
Yeah.
that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, anything else you want to add? I mean, any more details? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I think another thing is, Mastercard, like I said, is beyond payments. One of the things we're always trying to do is understand how we can have higher utility for the people we serve in the customer segments. So one of the things that we are going to be working with, or kind of already started, is kind of making sure that they have the best user experience. When we shop, I don't know about you, I have multiple windows open. How do you actually get a complete checkout? So how do you make sure that there is one click? You pay one click and then your Apple Pay, Google Pay, Mastercard or Visa card is actually processed. How can you break into payments to installments so that that independent Black designer that has a beautiful shirt that's over $400, let me break this down so I can support the small business. So these are just kind of ways that we want to support them to make sure that when we have users on their app or website, they stay on there. So that's another example.
before we go a little bit more into, and I want to ask next around, what's next for the program, anything, you're working on. Again, we will have time for Q&A. So again, they're here, right?
Yeah.
They're here. You can talk to them after, but also there's an opportunity to ask questions. So Rashida, I mean, what's next? New cohort or something? Anything else you're working on?
Yeah, so new court will be launching soon. We're about, technically, our application is still open. So if you get there really quickly in the next couple of days, I think we're probably closing it on Tuesday of next week for our Startpath and Solidarity cohort. We'll kick off in early November. So if you are a company that has a tech-driven solution, we're specifically interested right now in cybersecurity, healthcare, merchant services, like in category oneKIN is in. Those are kind of three very high priority areas for us. So please go in there and apply as soon as you can. What's next for us? Continue finding more opportunities to dig in and work with startups, and then just more of the same. I think my kind of big call to action is that when you do approach either Mastercard or any other corporate innovation program, come intentionally with how you can support us and how we can support you. So learn the business as much as you can, do as much Google research. I do connect the dots because I know the company, but the most informed founders, we end up having faster conversation. I can make synapses and we can move forward.
Marvin, I'll come back to you on what's next for you, but I do want to kind of dig into that. There's a few things. Eventually, I'm also going to come back, Rashida, to how we can support you as a community, but I also want to dig into a comment you just made. And I think you glossed over it, but I know it's difficult. You talk about corporate partnerships and relationships. A lot of startups want to work with companies. It's one of the top requests that we get. Can you connect me to so-and-so at so-and-so company, right? But I also know on the other side of that person working at big co has to understand and navigate their company. And that's a difficult thing because many cases, many teams don't even know each other. So how have you been so effective at navigating what's going on within your company to ultimately help out the startups in your program?
It's a work in progress. I think some of the things that I try to do is, every company, you're not a feature, you have products. So when you have a product, I also try to match that with appropriate products and appropriate strategic teams in the company. How do we do that? I think one thing that Mastercard's really good at is trying to think of ecosystems and build little ecosystems, seeing that if we do something in mobility, it might impact sustainability, data, AI, accessibility and payment. So I think if the startups come in with what the impact they want to make in the world, how they want to innovate, what ecosystems they play in, I also try to tie in those ecosystems within Mastercard and create that kind of connection.
I mean, that's dope. Companies are communities, right? At the end of the day, and their ecosystems, they work together to produce something of value, right? And so I think you're an amazing example of a community builder, even though you may not think of yourself that way. Maybe you do, but you're a community builder. You do it inside of a company, and those are the type of skills that it takes to be a great person in the world, but also to affect change for the founders in your community. Marvin, what's some of the things you're working on next? What gets you excited?
Yeah, that's a great question. Maybe I'll start off by maybe saying Mastercard's praises a little bit more because I do think it's important to just kind of emphasize the value that they've introduced to the company. So I can't overstate the urgency of the work that oneKIN is doing, and Mastercard has met us every step of the way. As I said before, our guiding thesis is that communities flourish when small businesses flourish. And just to attach some data and headlines to that, we know that small business sales growth is declining year after year. Black-owned businesses in particular are seeing a 51% decrease in sales. Needless to say, the social awakening is over, probably to no one's surprise. All these factors contribute to widespread closure rates, a loss of jobs, a lack of community development, and socioeconomic deterioration in neighborhoods where small businesses would otherwise serve as economic spigots. I think about one of the earliest merchants on our platform. We had met her. Despite being in this community staple, she was on the brink of permanent closure. She had been around for nearly 20 years. And so we decided that we would bring her through a pilot. And in a matter of about 6 or 7 weeks, she generated nearly $250,000 with literally no marketing budget. And when I think about that story and I think about how MasterCard has invested in us, the goal is such that stories like that aren't exceptions or anomalies, but the norm. So for us, we're trying to normalize that success for small businesses.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Quick reminder, if you're from Atlanta, he just moved here relatively recently. We got to do a welcoming committee or somebody got to take this brother out to dinner. He
Exactly.
Just
And I just want to also want him to, don't forget to talk about what you're doing with Link NYC and MSCD, because those are great opportunities.
Yeah. So if you're in New York or familiar with New York, they introduced a few years ago this platform called Link NYC, which is an opportunity to, give you more exposure to businesses and what's happening in New York. So it's these little physical kiosks that exist alongside businesses in many neighborhoods and also the metro, so highly foot traffic neighborhoods. So we were able to lock down a partnership at no cost with them to have our ads featuring small businesses, given that it's Hispanic Heritage Month, small businesses in that demographic throughout the entire month. And we're talking maybe 150 kiosks. And so we've already seen an uptick in sales because of that visibility.
Good stuff.
That's probably going to be like at least like 20,000 views per, because New York is condensed. So that's amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Good stuff. Questions. Anybody have any questions and comments? Oh.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chantel Sullivan, and I'm a Senior Technical Product Manager by trade, specifically in the fintech and payment space. Thank both of you for your time and your insights. But something that, I think it's really exciting to see everyone running towards blockchain, all of the different ways to increase peer-to-peer payments and all of those sort of next wave of transactions. However, I do see a deficit in the focus on underserved populations, specifically those who are cash constrained and the ones that are actually just distrustful of financial systems overall. So as I think about that, my question to you all is, how are you going to or thinking about that community, and how can you leverage your partnerships and technology to go and build out the things that they need as well?
That's a great question. It's super important, and that's a category I do source companies in. We use the term internally financial inclusion as the broad stroke or umbrella. No, it's a high priority. Already have identified some companies we work with that are supporting credit unions and CDFIs who are in the community and have goals and metrics to open up bank accounts and give lending within communities. So therefore, that their products are competitive and really trying to address the gaps in certain underserved neighborhoods. So what we do is work with the tech founders that are targeting not only the large national banks, but are specifically targeting credit unions, CDFIs, smaller regional banks that are very much community driven, and make sure that technology is both affordable, integratable, and easy to use. And so that to that point, that the banking products out there are actually meeting the needs of where the consumers are, including underserved or those who are excluded from traditional banking markets. It's a huge priority for us. And if there are any startups that do that, please come talk to me, because I'm always looking for more and more. And I think also credit building, credit worthiness is also important to us. And also people who are new immigrants and new transplants or expats, I use all words intentionally, who might have a bank history in another country, but do want to come to the United States or in the United States. That's important for us too, helping new entries to the US have access to banking products. So we're also looking for companies that innovate in that space. Nice. Thank you.
Time for maybe one more question or comment? Anyone? Back there.
Hi, and thank you. My name is Suna Lume, and I'm Director of Operations for a VC that actually invests in biotech. But as we look at deals and in same terms, because I've also worked in a large pharma. So I'd love to dig into what happened before this partnership happened, right? I'm wondering, what was oneKIN's secret sauce? What do you think your secret sauce was? Because that's a question that we're constantly trying to figure out. And the vast market of opportunities or companies that we assess, there's so many that have overlaps. But what do you think was your secret sauce that made you the right fit? And I'm curious to know if you thought it was the same from connecting the dots is from Mastercard's perspective, because I think that's one of the essence of how these partnerships really catalyze.
That's an interesting. So, what do I objectively think was the sauce, or what did Mastercard find appealing about?
What do you think? What did you think prepared you to go into these meetings and really make that vision clear to them of why they needed to partner with you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it was really the urgency of the problem we were solving. I think about even at the start of the pandemic, we're really good about being attentive to our customers, small businesses, and we just organically built out this massive platform of 7,000 merchants across the country. Through our latest integration with Shopify, we have access to 2 million. But one of the things that we were really good at was picking up the phone and talking to people. And so when I'm talking to a merchant and she's saying, Marv, like, because of this pandemic, I'm on the brink of losing 80% of my business. Like, no exaggeration, I was losing sleep at night. My wife had to prescribe like sleep medicine. Like this was personal for me. So I think it was really the secret sauce was we were so intimately interwoven in the business of helping small business. And I think when Mastercard met with us, they knew that we had not only the intuition, but the proximity to the pain point and that we were best placed to solve it.
Nice. I guess then the question is what did you see, I guess, Rashida, if I understood correctly?
Yeah, no, definitely. Just to dig into that, obviously the pandemic kind of shine a light on different aspects of our day-to-day lives and business that are not as digitally connected. And it was important to Mastercard, and it still is, that we support digital transformation of small businesses, and we saw oneKIN doing that in a very tangible way. So that was the initial interest. And to his point, Marvin and his co-founder Jennifer, who Gomez was not here, they both really understand the space really well, and they had done years of research and had earlier products. So they were designing a product that was specific to the needs of a small business, not just the needs of a corporation building for a small business. So that was the reason that we were really attracted to working with them.
Nice. Really, in closing, anything else that you all want to add, and then how can people get in contact with you?
Sure. I think anything else on that? Well, I've been speaking a lot about Startpath and Solidarity. Also going to call to action for the other Startpath programs. We have one in digital assets. So as my friend mentioned, that'll be the blockchain and NFT, crypto-related companies. We have another one, and those are global. We have one for open banking. We also have one for small business. I do small business, but they also do small business in a global sense. So if there are companies here that are not only US based, but globally, please feel free to apply and look into that. Our website is, again, it's a long handle, but if you Google Mastercard Startpath, it comes up at the top. And to get in touch with me, I say LinkedIn is probably the easiest because I always look at that first. And sometimes that's a little bit cleaner than my email box. I'm sorry I said that, but that's the truth. So I would say add me on LinkedIn. And then if you want to apply to a program, please don't wait for a response to me. Go on the website and apply today if you can.
There it is. Marvin?
Yeah, maybe just, and I hate giving advice because I have not the audacity. I'm a life learner, but I just do feel compelled to offer this. As a founder, it's been super important for me to leverage intuition. And I know that sounds like a pseudoscience or intangible, but the reality is intuition is actually deeply rooted in science. It's deeply rooted in biology. And to put it in simple terms, any given moment, obviously we have our conscious mind and the unconscious mind. And our conscious mind is processing such a small fraction of what we're actually being exposed to, but it's our unconscious mind that's crunching the numbers. So intuition is actually that moment where the unconscious mind gives the conscious mind access to that insight. So anytime you have that gut feeling or that intuition, like oftentimes that's going to lead to tangible, measurable outcomes. So trust it.
There it is. And how can people get in contact with you?
Social media _oneKIN, or my email marvin@onekin.co.
There it is. There it is. Give it up for Rashida and Marvin, y'all.
Thank you.
Awesome.